good afternoon. In this video, I would like to describe and then demonstrate hip rotator muscle strengthening using a resistance band. The reason that it's important to strengthen the hip rotator muscles is that these muscles stabilize the hip during functional movements. Also, one of the hip external rotator muscles, which is the obturator internus, is actually very intimately tied to the pelvic floor and is important in maintaining continence. Before we go any further with the exercise, I just want to clear up terminology though. The hip does internal and external rotation in the neutral position, or not flexed or extended. So it does external and then internal rotation, and you can see that the foot goes in, the toes go in for internal, out for external. However, with the knee bent, the foot movement is opposite. So it goes in rather for external rotation, and it goes out for internal rotation of the hip. And so just, if you do both sides with both different directions of rotation, it's not that important to remember those terms. However, just to be clear on which direction we're doing. So with that, we'll do the exercise. I've got a length of resistance band here, and it's anchored at approximately knee height. It doesn't need to be on a power rack, it can be in a door. And so once you have a secure anchor, you just simply step in, put it at the ankle, and then you want to get into a prone position with the knee bent. And then you want to actually load it to where you have some tension on the band with your hip in internal rotation, because this is going to be active external rotation. And it's important here to not rotate your trunk or twist your body when you're doing this. You want to make it a pure hip rotation movement. So you want to keep as still as possible, except for that foot and leg movement, and your hip is just going to do a rotation. So that is the external rotation movement. And you want to keep the resistance light enough also so that you can do repetitions with good form, on the order of 20, 30, even 40 in a set, and get a good muscle endurance effect with the exercise. So that is external rotation. Now we're going to move to internal rotation. And so we would switch to the other ankle here. And then it's a similar position, however, the hip starts out in the opposite rotation. So now I'm here with my hip in external rotation, in an externally rotated position. And then I'm going to sweep the foot out, which actually internally rotates the hip. And just like with the hip external rotation, you may have to really concentrate to not move your entire body and give your hip help like that. If you're going to be trying to isolate the hip externally, or in this case, internal rotator muscles, you want to keep the trunk very still and just keep all of the movement at the hip. So those two are the one way that you can do hip internal and external rotation. You can also do this in different positions, such as sitting. I've just chosen to demonstrate it here with the hip in the so-called neutral position, because that's a more functional position for running, walking, doing cutting movements in sports.